Why introductions matter in games. Now, this might seem like something that's really obvious, like, of course it matters, why wouldn't it? But hear me out a little bit. So, I've been having a hard time committing to playing games recently, and as I've gotten older as a gamer, your time gets taken up, by some mixture of all the responsibilities you have, in addition to just really being tired a lot. Or the general life fatigue, I'll call it. And this has led me to not playing many games other than maybe some competitive multiplayer games because I know I can just drop in and play. I can catch up with friends, right? So I've really had a hard time committing to my favorite type of game, which is an RPG, because of the time commitment that can be necessary to put in before the game gets good. I'm a 30-year-old dad and don't have extra time to invest in a game for it to get good. I'm more likely to finish a game that hooks me that I might only rate an 8 out of 10 versus a game that is too slow that I would rate a 9 out of 10. I still want to play that game, but I want to enjoy the time I have set aside to game. That's why the beginning of these games matters so much. Because I want to play single player games. I want to be drawn into a world and held there. The majority of my fondest gaming memories are single player, even though I absolutely love games like Overwatch, don't get me wrong. But Final Fantasy made me a gamer. God of War made me say, boy, for weeks on end. The Last of Us made me cry and contemplate life. Suikoden made me talk to every random NPC 30 times in case I could recruit them. Oblivion had me stealing every cup just in case. And in order to get hooked during the beginning stages of a game, you have to do at least one thing excellent between the setting, gameplay, and story. A lot of games do this very well. Like we already mentioned, The Last of Us hooks you with its story. Oblivion hooks you with its setting when you leave the sewers and you see the world for the first time. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater has incredible music mixed with easy and accessible gameplay. And now in honor of the soon-to-be released, more than a remaster update to Crisis Core, which I hope to put something out in as I haven't played it in years. I've recently been playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I think the initial bombing mission is an excellent introduction to a game and really does a good job of hooking you in. So first, how does the setting hook you? I think the setting can be further split in two ways, kind of through the music and how the art style and the world all kind of come together. They very much go together and blend as music conveys emotion in a scene. It can make a horror movie a comedy simply through a shift in tone. And when it's paired with perfect visuals, the two become immediately and forever linked. Think of the Fellowship theme from Lord of the Rings, and it would always bring you to the image of the Fellowship walking and leaving Rivendell. Now really with Final Fantasy, there's never been a doubt about its music. As we start this game, even in the opening cutscene, the beginning is foreboding. It sets up well the concern for the bombing mission to come. It also shifts well with the theme swelling and changing as we're introduced to Aerith and then our main character, Cloud. Now, there are a lot more people who are very knowledgeable about music who can explain those things better, but just know that Nobuo Uematsu can do no wrong in my eyes. The soundtrack slaps. He was in my Spotify Wrapped this past year, and I have zero regrets. Now, the art style. This game is absolutely beautiful. The opening cutscene and mission do an excellent job of storytelling through visuals. There's desert and minimal life as far as the eye can see. They don't tell you anything. They just show you how Shinra is literally choking the planet's life away. Also sheds light on kind of some of the income inequality present in Midgar and how, these different perspectives and these oppressed people could be driven to do something so drastic. This high quality continues throughout the initial mission, with excellent character and boss designs as well, even if I always chuckle at some of the designs, specifically Jesse's armor. But all in all, the setting of the game absolutely hooks you in. How does the gameplay hook you? Again, I think this can be split in a couple of ways. One, what are the systems that are unique or hook you into the game? And two, more importantly, how does it play? Well, one, this combat system is very easy to pick up and play, if you're familiar with any type of action RPG, but I feel like the nod to the original ATB system, mixed with the already awesome materia system, gives it a lot of depth. The ATB system of charging with basic attacks before being able to unleash stronger attacks sets up a tactical gameplay loop that allows multiple playstyles without making the enemies punishing or the game overly difficult. Each character feels very unique and distinct to play, even if you're only playing Cloud and Barret at this time. Now the more important section for a game like this, how does it play? In a word, fantastic. There are some gripes with the camera and lock-on system that can be improved by adjusting the camera distance. The game starts with you really zoomed in, and it's too far, especially when you're supposed to be able to track and react to enemies moving around, but this can be adjusted pretty easily. And the tutorials are a little bit too on the nose, like, oh, there's an enemy out of reach, you must now change to Barret because he has a gun. The movement out of battle can be a little frustrating at times too, because you'll see Cloud jump 20 feet in a cutscene, but you can't cross a small gap. Other than that though, minimal complaints. Defeating basic enemies is rewarding. Changing battle stances with Cloud instantly feels good. The overall systems are plain fun. They nailed a lot of little things as well, including how the weapons feel. The impact of the Buster Sword hitting an enemy feels good. You really feel Barret as he's charging up his gun. The fight with the Guard Scorpion acts how a tutorial boss should, with a little challenge while showing overall game mechanics. And again, some minor gripes about how it plays, but hooked. And now, how does the story hook you? Again, split into a couple phases. I kind of just am splitting up how I feel about the characters and how I feel about the overall story. So I think the character introduction is actually the weakest part of the beginning of this game. Now, I love the characters in this game, don't get me wrong. But if you're judging them from just the beginning hour, most of them come across as one note. Jessie is annoying, upbeat, and just has a crush on Cloud, and that's her whole personality. Barret is the over-the-top leader. Cloud is the loner. Basically the loner archetype. Now, the game does start to show some progressions during this time, but they're more subtle. Cloud having the headaches and flashbacks as he gets deeper into the reactor is very interesting and just makes you wonder kind of what's going on. Or there's more to his story, obviously. And Barret showing some hint of fear or regret when they're boarding the elevator after setting the bomb off is really engaging and helps set the stage for the character development that is to come. The characters at the start are probably not a hook for most players at this time, unless it's just because Cloud is cool or Barret has a gun arm. But again, that's more in the art style, how everything looks. But definite hook for me, but I'm old and I know where this story goes. But speaking of the story, I mentioned throughout this video how parts of the art style and world, or music, or characters have already begun telling this story in an effective manner. I also enjoy how it quickly transitions from pure, scrappy underdogs against evil corporation to the good guys committing an act of terrorism that the bad guys made worse and wanted to happen. I mean, the story really starts on a wave of environmentalism and evil capitalist overlords, with enough intrigue beneath the surface to kind of draw you in. Overall, it's somewhat simplistic, but a good total story development through the world, setting, characters, and initial story beats. A definite hook on the story for me. The beginning of games matter immensely, and as I've gotten older, like I said, I have less time and patience for games that are slow-moving. I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake does an excellent job of sinking its teeth in and getting you wanting to play more. And if you made it to the end of the video, please do all the algorithm things. Sub, like, comment, share. Let me know if I should cover any other games, intros. Otherwise, hopefully I'll have another video coming soon.